Hello, this is Edward Lambert with another video of 6-element theory for acupuncture. This video is going to be about the spleen meridian supporting the large intestine meridian. One of the strengths of spleen is logic, the ability to clearly explain something. Logic pieces together bits of information forming a body of knowledge. The strength of logic is found in its flexibility and adaptiveness. The end result of logic is that conclusions can be drawn. Thus, logic allows one to formulate rules and laws. These laws encompass all the knowledge pieced together with the spleen substance. E equals mc squared was a law based on a vast compilation of logic formed with spleen substance. We don't see the vast logic that led to the law. We only see the law. But if we really want to understand the law, you have to study the logic behind it. The same goes for the spherical flow. Its discovery came after years of meditations on the symbols before I saw it. Those meditations formed a body of spleen substance in the form of logic. In a flash of insight, I saw the spherical flow because of the body of logic had a force. The large intestine establishes laws based on the logic of spleen. The strength of the law is only as good as the comprehensiveness and dexterity of the spleen's logic upon which it is based. Each person has their own internal logic that reflects their own nature. Each person has a unique personality. Each person develops their own philosophy of life based on natural logic of their personality. The large intestine forms and establishes these beliefs based on the logic. These beliefs may be in conflict with other people. That is not a problem. The strength of a belief must rest upon the depth and comprehensiveness of its logic. Others may attack the belief, putting it into question. This is when the logic is tested. Others see and evaluate the strength of the logic and then can draw their own laws and conclusions, rejecting or accepting. The spleen meridian connects to the large intestine organ. When the large intestine energy is weak, the result can be diarrhea or constipation. On a mental level, when a person states a lot of beliefs without understanding them, there's a saying, constipation of the brain, diarrhea of the mouth. The large intestine is not matured to filter one's speech. The logic runs amok. The integrity of the large intestine is determined by the small intestine and the spleen. The authority of the large intestine is founded on the discernment of small intestine and the logic of the spleen. It is not enough just to be able to enforce a law. One needs to know when a specific law applies and when it does not. Spleen gives the ability to compensate for rigidity in law. Stating one's opinions associates with the large intestine. If the large intestine is founded too much on fire energy, heart, and small intestine, then one's opinions become fanatical. Here's a saying by Winston Churchill: a fanatic is someone who won't change the subject and won't change their mind. The relaxed nature of the spleen allows one to change their mind with reason. Studying can burden the spleen if done too much, because the mind must adapt its reasoning and logical conclusions in the process. The mind bases its opinions upon information it has already come across. When basic information changes, the mind redevelops its opinions. This mental process relates to how spleen develops and reshapes the opinions and beliefs maintained by the large intestine. There is resistance in this world to new ideas. People are invested in their traditional view. In this case, the small intestine blocks ideas. The spleen loses the ability to evolve new logic. The laws become fixed in stone. So what happens when the logic of the spherical flow is seen? Can people accept it? Are they able to modify their views? Are they able to give some flexibility to their logical reasoning? Can the teachings change? It is stressful to incorporate a radical discovery into one's tradition. It stirs up a lot of confusion. This is one of the challenges of the work I do in 6-element theory, is that you have a world of 5-element theory, and then someone comes along who has thought through this process at sophisticated levels. And what do? You have to understand the logic. So through these videos, I'm presenting the logic of 6-element theory. Whether it's rejected or accepted is not my concern. I will live on with my own knowledge. It is only the concern of others if they accept it or reject it. A body of knowledge must continually evolve to withstand the forces of evolution. In biology, when a stress is put upon a balanced ecosystem, The ecosystem will rearrange itself to a higher level of development in order to mitigate the impact of the stress. This process of rearranging is the basic process of evolution. Life becomes stronger when it acknowledges stress and adapts to it. Basically, traditional knowledge needs to have the capacity to rearrange itself at a higher level. The spherical meridian flow does not seek to challenge theories of traditional acupuncture. It offers an advanced view and then allows others to decide on their own whether it is truth or not. So here are some point combinations between large intestine and spleen. Large intestine 11 and spleen 10 to cool blood and skin diseases. The spleen's deep tissue in the skin holds on to the heat, and the large intestine's surface skin tissue is not helping to release the heat. This point combination is meant to release the heat through the exterior. Large intestine 4 and spleen 8 for acute dysmenorrhea due to epithelial tissue of uterus not sloughing off. Tissue is being held on by rigid wei qi of the large intestine.